Man, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS. I kind of have a little bit of a graphic video for y'all, so of course, if you're not old enough to be watching this, don't watch it. Can't stomach it, don't watch it. It's not going to be nothing too crazy from some of the things I've said in the past, but this video is going to be about PTSD and, for me, what I believe led to me having PTSD. What significant events changed my mentality, traumatized my mentality to the point that even though I'm back in society, I still can't break some of the ways of thinking that I have. The very first time that I saw somebody get, split open, blood everywhere, was in county jail, in Hillsborough County Jail. So this was in Falkenberg. And I was in confinement at the time. There was fights in county, nothing too crazy. There was never any stabbings or anybody getting slashed when I was in the dorm. It might have happened in different dorms, but it was mostly just hands. And I was in confinement at the time. If you're not familiar with how cell doors are set up, it's usually, a big old door. Pretty much everywhere you go now, they're like controlled electronically, so the booth can open up the door, it pops, and you slide the rest of it open. And they all have these little flaps that are about waist high. And the flap is used for either putting trays into the cell, or you stick your hands out of the cell. They handcuff you before they open your cell up. What happened to this guy? They did a cell extraction. So basically, this dude was, irate. He was going crazy. He's kicking the door down. Confinement in Falkenberg, it was one of the hottest confinement cells I've been in. It's a huge cell, so you got mad room, and you're by yourself. And that somewhat makes things harder because you're by yourself. In prison, unless you're on CM1, you're going to have someone in the cell with you in confinement. You're not doing confinement time by yourself. And even though that can lead to so many different issues and problems, communication is one of the things that makes confinement, it makes it a little bit easier, just being able to have some type of human interaction. But at the same time, you get the wrong person in your room, that human interaction might not be what you want. Now, in county, you're in here by yourself, you're completely isolated, and the AC, everything is so loud, you can't talk to people out of the cell. Even if you yell, no one's gonna hear you. So there's no communication whatsoever. When they let people out, they only let one person out at a time. You can go to the kiosk, you can cut your own hair, you can grab a couple of books, and then you go back in your cell. You're not allowed to go up to anyone's cell door. I was on the top tier. If they let you out, you're not allowed to go up to the top tier. If you get caught going to anyone's door or communicating, you get put back in your cell. So, there's no talking whatsoever. I was on the top tier. I hear some crazy noise. Come to find out, dude's kicking the cell. So I see the squad come in. And, they come in suited up and everything like that. They go to his cell. They basically pop the door. I don't think they sprayed him or anything like that. I can't really see too much. I can just see that there's mad people downstairs as far as like staff goes. And it's going down. You know what I mean? They take him out and they have him in handcuffs, and I see him, he's got his shirt off, whatever. And then I see him trying to, struggle to get away, and I see the COs grabbing him, picking him up. Or not COs, in county they're like sheriff officers. I don't think they're called COs yet. But more or less what happened is they picked him up and they slammed him. And when they slammed him, his flap was open and it split his whole head. So they slammed him off the flap, split him wide open, and then they brought in the restraint chair where they sit you down in the chair and they strap your arms down, they strap your head down, everything gets strapped down. I didn't actually see this dude get slammed off of this flap, But a CO that did a walk around, I knocked on the window. I ended up asking him what happened. He told him he got slammed. You know what I mean? What I saw, and I'm on the door watching the whole thing, trying to see what's happening. I see them put him in the restraint chair. And that's when I see, I mean, it's just split wide open, like nasty. Like you could you could see white in certain spots. I don't know if it was his skull or if it was white meat, and then it just started bleeding so bad you couldn't really see anything. And he started thrashing. They put a spit bag over his head, so the spit bag keeps you from spitting at them. But his spit bags just got blood all in it. It was white. It was a white spit bag. And there's nothing but just blood soaked all over this thing, and he's just thrashing around. I'm 18. This is my first time in county, and I'm looking at someone strapped into a chair with a bag over their head, bleeding all in it, just going crazy. And I didn't really know what to think. You know what I mean? That was my first time seeing someone get split open like that and seeing that much blood. And at first it was nasty, but I didn't want to look away. I wanted to see everything that happened, and I wanted to watch what happened and somewhat take it in. My first time seeing somebody get hit up in prison was actually when I slit my cellmate's throat. That was my first time seeing somebody. I never saw someone get cut. I never saw someone get stabbed at the Central Florida Reception Center. I never saw anyone get hit up when I went to Sumter. I heard people were getting hit up when I went to Sumter, but I never actually saw it pop off. You know what I mean? I remember when I was in C-Dorm and there was a riot going on in the rec yard with the other dorms. And it was a big ass riot, but you're looking at people from mad far away. You can't really see the details of what's happening. And when I went into confinement, you know, me and that kid, right? He was a Crip. We was in the cell together. We didn't necessarily have an issue just because he was a Crip until his Crip brother told him to fight me. And then one of my brothers told me to fight him. We fought. I whooped his ass. And it still wasn't really an issue. This kid, he even went as far as like, he ended up letting me write a letter and he put it in his, envelope and sent it to his mother. And it was basically just me asking for pen pals. And his mom wrote me back saying she'll be my pen pal, sent me stamps and everything. You know what I mean? Like, me and this kid, we would try to vibe as much as possible just because when you're in the room with someone you don't like, you hate it. And, even though we fought, we were somewhat past that. And, when I found out that he had said something disrespectful to my brother, no one asked me to put in work. Nobody told me I need to handle up. I volunteered. I raised my hand. I signed up for the shit. A razor got put in my room. I cut his neck 3 times. So all in all, I cut him from about here to, closer to the back of his neck. I hit him once, twice, and then that 3rd time as I was pushing his face against the glass. That was my first time hitting someone up with a razor. That was my first time watching someone get hit up by a razor. I saw his skin split. He was black, so I could see the white pink meat, and the skin just split, and then the bleeding started. The blood was just flowing straight down, covering his shirt. That was my first time doing it. And I said in the other video, it felt sick to do it. It was an adrenaline rush like crazy. I just knew I had to do it. I couldn't focus on what I was doing. I just had to do it. And I tried to just channel some form of aggression and anger to the point that in my head, I just wanted to cause him pain and suffering. And I hit him up. You know what I mean? And after I hit him up, he got, moved out of my cell. He went psych or whatever and said that he tried to kill himself. And what's crazy about it is everyone in confinement that was, affiliated with me was just, boosting my name up. It's almost like I just, got the winning touchdown. You know what I mean? Like, or the last 12 round knockout. Like, it was just, everybody was geeked up about it. Like, this just put me on another level. But I'm sitting in the room just thinking to myself, and you know, I've said it before. It's not what I've done to people that bothers me. It's the thought of it being done to me that affects me. It's the thought of me being in a helpless situation and staring down the barrel of a gun, or me having my back to the wall and 5 people in front of me with knives while I have nothing. It's that feeling of looking at something before it happens, before your car crashes and you can feel you're losing control of the vehicle and you see the tree that you're about to hit. You know what I mean? That small moment when you realize I am about to accept so much pain right now. I just hope that I'm able to make it through it. Even when I was doing drugs, there will be times when my body feels like it's shutting down or panicking or freaking out, and I gotta sit in the tub butt ass naked with the water on freezing, and I'm just trying to make sure I stay awake, and I'm praying to God, if you keep me alive and let me get through this, I'll never do drugs again. When you know that something is about to happen and you just need to accept it and you hope you make it through it, that's what affects me the most. But never does it affect me what I've done to people, because I justify it in my own head. I control morality in that sense by viewing that I did it for a righteous cause that was right on my behalf. And that's the only way I'm able to not fall victim to feeling bad about things, because I can't take them back. My first time seeing somebody else get hit up, you know, I saw kids get hit up at Sumter. The second I got to Lancaster, if you've been on my Instagram, Angel, rest in peace to Angel, he was the very first person I watched hit somebody up the second I got to Lancaster. You know what I mean? Put a fucking hole in this kid's head with a brick. And then that kid ended up getting stabbed up a couple times by someone else with a poker. At the same time, you know, Angel popped it off. Boom! Big ass patch in his head. Other kid runs up, starts banging him out with the poker. It's just when you see shit like that, you're like, damn, I'm glad this isn't happening to me. But then you're thinking to yourself, what if this happens to me? How am I going to handle it? When I got cut, it honestly didn't affect me because it was such a fast thing. It was such a painless thing. I didn't feel any pain when I got cut. I just wanted revenge. That's the only thing that I wanted. I wanted revenge. I wanted to dig this razor into this kid's face until I can see his teeth and everything else. I wanted to dissect this kid with this razor and cause him so much trauma he never looks the same. But I couldn't get my hands on the kid. My toes were messed up. I could barely walk at the time. He cut me. I had to take it to the chin. Not only that, I had to get beat by the COs for not telling. And that's another element. You have to accept responsibility when you hit someone up, because there is a chance you are going to get caught hitting that person up. And it doesn't end there. They might get you back. They might if they get the opportunity, but the COs will definitely get you back. So you need to be able to understand when you hit that person up, you have to accept being handcuffed and beaten into the ground by the COs. You have to accept the pain that is coming your way. I was moved into the Zoe house, Q1. Nothing but Zoes in this whole damn house. That's all the dorm was Zoes at the time when I got put in there. The second they found out I was blood, everybody's yelling out the cells like, oh, we got a blood in here. We got a blood in here. They're planning to hit me up. I know they're going to hit me up. I know for a fact the second this door pops, they're going to try to hit me up. You know what the only thing that was going through my mind was? I already accepted the fact I was going to be hit up. Because I don't know what PC is. I never heard of it. I don't understand it. I can't wrap my head around the concept. If I have to get my face slit open, I'm gonna wear that scar with pride and tell y'all the story about how I got put in a dorm with 60, 70 other Zoes, and all that happened was this. You know what I mean? I'm going to tell my story. I'm going to wear my scar like a war stripe. I already accepted the fact I was going to get hit up. And that morning when we went to breakfast, kid tried to hit me up. Ran up behind me with a box cutter. I weaved it, and I got to the back of the line. He wasn't able to get me. But I didn't have anything to get him back. But just imagine sitting for hours in a cell at night. You can't sleep. I had a Zoe in the room with me, but this kid was going home the next day and let me know he wasn't on nothing. But I can't sleep. I am up for hours running it through my head, accepting the fact that I am going to accept the pain that comes tomorrow. I'm going to accept the pain that's coming to me in a couple of hours. It's inevitable. There's nothing I can do about it. You know, when you go to get a tattoo, you understand you are going to feel some form of pain. Imagine knowing that you're about to get hit up and you don't know what you're going to get hit up with. You don't know if it's going to be a knife, a sword, a box cutter, a razor, a lock, a brick. You don't know what it is. You don't know if you're going to get tied down and lit on fire. You don't know if they're going to try to put a broomstick up your ass. You don't know what's going to happen to you. You just accept it. You know what's going to happen. All of these things that I went through affect me to this day. All of these things play a part in how I move to this day, you know. Part of it is what bothers me, because I know that my brothers are still going through things like this, that are still locked up. And everyone that's been on my channel and has spoke on the fact that the things that they had to go through, whether it was the violence that they, you know, put in, the pain that they put on other people, or the pain that they had to accept and they had to go through, whatever it is, it still affects them to this day. What I went through, what I saw, what I've done, a lot of the times I feel like, when is karma gonna come back to me? You know, one of the things that bothered me is when my girlfriend was pregnant, I used to think every single day I was going to die before my baby was born, because how often do you hear about somebody gets killed and they had a child on the way or something like that? You know, I used to come home from work, and whether I was walking home from work, whether I was Ubering home, whatever it was, just things would be going too good. And any time, if I got a raise, if, you know, everything was working out, if a new video game came out, if a new movie came out, if there's something to look forward to, I used to always think right before it happens I might die, because things are going too good right now. You know, I just got a raise, I'm about to go home, I'm about to hang out, my baby's on the way. And I would just sit and think, this can't be right. Something bad is going to happen. I might not make it home. And I don't know why, but I just always used to feel that way. And then I also used to feel like, if I have to die, let me die after I see my child. I just want to see my child first. Let me embrace my daughter. Give me that, and I'll accept the pain that comes after. You know, and I feel all of this has a part to play in just the fact of what I went through, you know, because I can't understand Angel's death. I can't understand somebody going to prison so young and then coming out and just getting shot to death. I can't understand a lot of my homies that died so young, because if you really think about the experiences they had in life, it wasn't much. And it makes you think, what is the point of life at that point? What is the point of life if you don't really get to experience it whatsoever? You are nothing but something that someone else can learn from. And I think to myself, is that going to happen to me? Am I going to get shot and killed, and then people are going to make videos about me talking about, see, that's why you don't do what he did? You know what I mean? A lot of things bother me. When I go out in public, I wouldn't really call it anxiety, because I didn't know what the fuck anxiety was in prison. We didn't call it that shit. It was normal to feel like you might die today, because motherfuckers was getting hit up every single day. This was normal shit. It was normal to feel like you might get seriously fucking hurt today. It was normal to feel like I might seriously hurt somebody today. So when I got out, I wouldn't really call it anxiety. I would just call it war mode. That's what it was. I was ready for war. And I was ready for war in places I didn't need to be ready for it. But all it takes is someone to look one type of fucking way at me. And that's all I'm thinking about. I'll be in Target in South Bay in Dorchester, and I'll have someone look at me one type of way, and I can't even focus on the reason I fucking came here. I might be here trying to get the new Call of Duty or something. And now I'm thinking about, does he know me? Does he recognize me? Did I do something to him? Do I need to walk around the store and pretend to shop just to watch what the fuck he's doing? So I make sure that when I come outside, I don't get shot in my face? Just simple shit. Always feeling like I'm going to run into somebody or somebody that wants to get their name up, wants to get a couple stripes. Maybe they see me on YouTube. They want to take me out my glory. They want to take me out my fame. Oh, he got a little name. His name buzzing. Let me shoot him. Yeah, I'm the one that killed 1090 Jake. This is the shit that I think about all the fucking time. This is the reason I feel like a lot of prisoners get out and get guns and get caught with that gun and then get sent to the feds or back to state prison. Not because of the fact that they have a gun because they want to hurt people, but because of the fact that they always feel that something is going to happen. Because that was the daily thing that we went through. You know, the only people that I think could really relate to this shit, if you've been to a prison that was on the same type of shit that mine was, or if you've been in the military, you've been in these kill or be killed type situations, if you grew up in the streets, you got certain hoods that's living like that for real on a day-to-day basis. You got certain hoods that you might have a shooting, you know, once a month, twice a month. You got some hoods where you got 10 people that get whacked in the same month that's from the same goddamn block. You know what I'm saying? They all from the same hood. Since I lived in Boston, just in this specific area, a couple of people done got killed from this neighborhood. From Dudley Park, from this little ass neighborhood, not the whole Dudley Street. Bodies get dropped on Dudley Street all the time, but just this little ass pot, shit be popping off. Somebody I went to court with, you know, we was in the choice program together. We got cool. He gave me a ride home so I didn't have to walk through the opposite neighborhood. He ended up getting shot in his head right down the street from my house. So I'm always in war mode, you know what I mean? When people ask me, yo, would you do a meet and greet? Would you be down to meet? Are you approachable? I'm approachable. To an extent, I got to figure out who the fuck you are first. Don't just walk up to me with your hand out because I'm going to think you're trying me or disrespecting me or you're trying to play games with me. You're trying to get close to me. And once someone's in arm's length of you, that's when they can kill you. That's how prison works. Out here, you can shoot somebody from down the street, but still, it's just when you close enough to me, that's when it can really happen. And it's a daily struggle, pushing through all these feelings and, you know, trying to keep a smile on my face so that my daughter doesn't see me out of my element. You know what I mean? And it's really, I'm not out of my element. When I'm in that mode, when I'm in war mode, that is my element. That is when I feel most comfortable because I feel that I'm secure in all areas. I feel when I'm most observant, I'm the safest. And I feel when I'm relaxed, I'm the weakest. But that's how it affects me. Let me know how some of the traumatic experiences in y'all life have affected y'all. And let me know what y'all do to push through these type of things. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily have all the answers, and I'm open to any opinion on something that can help me. You know what I mean? As much as y'all can relate to these videos, I can relate to y'all too. And let's see if we can help each other out. But hey, I appreciate y'all. Rocking with y'all like y'all rocking with me. Till next time.